Hello everyone, welcome to today's class, and our title today is German companies hire private detectives. Let's move on to language focus. 1번. The author has been known to take a sick day from time to time. So, as you can see, I have highlighted has been known to. So, use has been known to express that something has happened occasionally in the past. It implies that it does not happen all the time, but it happened a few times. So have been known to는 과거에 가끔 발생했던 일을 표현하는 데 사용됩니다. 이는 항상 일어난 것은 아니지만 몇 번 발생한 적이 있음을 의미합니다. So if we look at our example sentence, Sanjeev has been known to play a few jokes on his co-workers. Let's just put it. So 산지브는 동료들에게 장난을 몇 번 친 적이 있다. So not a lot, but a few times. Well, my relatives have been known to drop by without calling. 내 친척들은 예고 없이 불쑥 찾아온 적이 있다. So to drop by actually means to suddenly visit, right? So suddenly visit. And I hate when that happens. I really hate spontaneous things. Like I hate when like people are like, "Hey, let's hang out right now." And yeah, when relatives are like, "Hey, let's call in right now." I'm like, I hate that. I don't know why I hate that, but I just hate that. All right, 2번. However, I had a hard time getting my head around it when I heard that the average German worker took 15 sick days last year. Okay, so had a hard time. So we're going to use have a hard time doing something. So use have a hard time doing something to express that a task is difficult. Note that it doesn't have to mean that a person suffers or literally goes through a hard time. So, have a hard time doing something은 어떤 일이 어렵다는 것을 표현하는데 사용됩니다. 반드시 고통을 겪거나 힘든 시간을 보내다는 의미는 아니며 단순히 특정한 일을 수행하는데 어려움을 겪는다는 뜻입니다. So, an example, I can understand Mandarin pretty well, but I have a hard time understanding Cantonese. So 나는 중국어 맨더린 꽤 잘 이해하지만 꽈뚱어는 이해하는데 어려움을 겪는다. Or Reina has a hard time remembering people's names. 레이나는 사람들의 이름을 기억하는데 어려움을 겪는다. Alright, now let's look at the language focus quiz. 1번. Has been known to disagree with sometimes. Okay, so have been known to. Remember, so have been known to express that something has happened occasionally in the past. It implies that it doesn't happen all the time, but it happens a few times. Have been known to는 과거에 가끔 발생했던 일을 표현하는데 사용됩니다. So let's say our team manager has been known to disagree with our line manager or something like that. So 우리 팀장님은 가끔 라인 매니저와 의견이 맞지 않은 적이 있다. 2번 has been known to a few times in the past. Sunny has been known to skip school a few times in the past. 산이는 과거에 몇 번 학교를 빠진 적이 있다. 3번. Many people many people have a hard time telling the difference between and So remember, use have a hard time doing something to express that the task is difficult. Note that it doesn't have to mean that a person suffers or literally goes through a hard time. So have a hard time doing something은 어떤 일이 어렵다는 것을 표현하는 데 사용됩니다. So, let's say my brother and keep it simple. My brother and I. So, 많은 사람들이 내 형과 나를 구별하는데 어려움을 겪는다. Or 4번 had a hard time remembering Katie had a hard time remembering her facts. KT는 사실 기억하는데 어려움을 겪었다. Alright, now let's look at the further discussions. 1번. What stereotypes do you have of German workers? Were you surprised to find out that German companies have serious problems with absenteeism? 독일 노동자들에 대해 어떤 고정관념을 가지고 있나요? 독일 기업들이 결국 문제로 심각한 어려움을 겪고 있다는 사실을 알고 놀랐나요? What stereotypes do I have of German workers? I don't know. I've never worked with a German person before, I don't think. Not that I can think of. I don't have any stereotypes of German workers. I imagine that they work very hard. There's a lot of very famous German companies in the world that do very well. You think of like Adidas, you think of what else? Reebok. You think of all the car brands. Germany has a lot of established companies that come out of that country. So you can imagine that there are a lot of good workers, very hardworking kinds of people. Absenteeism, sure, it happens. Like I said, it's not a big surprise to me that people are taking sick days off, because coming from a country like Australia, when I was younger anyway, sick days weren't a serious problem, to be honest with you. You kind of took sick days off when you kind of knew that they didn't need you. It depends on who you were working with and how much, on what day. I would never take a sick day off on a Friday, for example, when I used to work for hotels, because I know that would be a really bad day to take a sick day off, because we're always busy on a Friday. So I would take a sick day off on, let's say a Tuesday or a Wednesday or something like that. It was just sort of normal for a lot of people in Australia to take sick days off when they just didn't feel like going to work. So to me, it's not surprising that people take sick days off. In Korea, it's very surprising that they don't allow sick days, or sick days are considered, looked down on. I think it's silly. 2번. Do you agree that taking paid time off work for a fake illness is a form of stealing, or is this just a normal thing that employees do? Give you reasons for your opinion. 유급 평가를 거짓으로 사용하는 것이 일종의 도둑질이라고 생각하나요? 아니면 이것이 직원들이 흔히 하는 정상적인 행동이라고 보나요? I guess as a person who's just admitted to taking days off when I'm not sick, I'd have to say that this is okay, because otherwise I'd be a hypocrite for saying that this is a form of stealing. No, I don't think it's a form of stealing, to be honest with you. I think that you have every right to take days off even if you don't feel like coming into work. I think if they supply them, you're able to use them. In some situations, they won't even let you, like, if you have sick days and you accumulate those sick days, they don't pay you back for those sick days. Meaning, like, for example, like sometimes if you accumulate your annual leave, you can get paid out in cash. They give you money, but some companies, they don't. They want you to use your annual leave. Same with sick days. They're like, oh, you didn't use your sick days, so you don't get paid for the sick days. So use them, in my opinion. But that's also a very bad bit of advice, and hopefully no one I work for is watching this. But yeah, I've done it before. I don't think it's bad. Who knows? All right, that wraps it up for today's class, and I'll see you on the next class.
Get one's head around something.
Get one's head around something.
Side hustle.
Side hustle.
Absenteeism.
Absenteeism.
Think twice.
Think twice.
Hassle.
Hassle.
Resent.
Resent.